I picked up his severed head and asked, as expected, this is also an avatar. Han Suyong is your real name? Yes. Han Suyong was the first apostle, as I thought. That damn plagiarist was always hiding like a coward. What is this guy? People shouted with alarm from all sides. There were confused voices and voices filled with betrayal. I stepped to one side with Yu Sung and Liu Gilyong. Of course, Han Suyong's talking head was still held in one hand. I was right. It was you who spread out the text novel, right? That's right. I scanned the text version of your plagiarized novel. The revelation isn't plagiarized. It is plagiarism. Did you write the original setting? Don't compare my work to that rubbish. You're understanding what I'm saying, and don't deny reading the original? Han Suyong glared at me. Everyone, kill him! Ah, a head is talking! Han Suyong's expression distorted. People were alarmed by the turmoil, but showed no signs of acting. In addition, they would soon have no room to worry about us. I smiled at Han Suyong. The cliché that you said will start soon. I waited and there was a burst of light. The ring of light moved, drawing lines of blood on the bodies of some people. A person screamed as blood spurted from the body cut into pieces. The people in the back screamed and moved. Damn these guys! It was a black magic power that came from the strong presence approaching in front of me. Raise the palanquin! A neutral voice came from the large palanquin. There was a shadow of someone inside the palanquin. I reflexively shouted, Yusangashi! Gilyong, move back! A voice flowed from the palanquin. Move. The palanquin started to approach the group of people. 3 rings of light mercilessly swept over the battlefield. Dozens of people died at once. People stared with disbelief as the limbs disappeared and blood spurted. The start of the battle lines instantly became bare. The terrified group members retreated. In seething silence, everyone shut their mouths like dead mice. The Tyrant King walked out of the palanquin. They aren't very good, the kings of the previous age. He held the 3-ring loop in his hand, an item that released condensed magic power. It was a hidden item available in the Northern Soul, but it wasn't something the original Tyrant King had. It must be true that he had some profits. The exclusive skill character list is activated. Character information. Name, Zhong Yongho. Age, 33 years old. Constellation support, Great King Hongchong, Hongdo, Gomun, Huimu. Private attribute, Circus member, rare. Tyrant King, hero. Exclusive skills, Grabbing techniques level 5. Sky steps level 3. Weapons training level 5. Stigma, Palanquin tank level 5. Choyongmu level 5. Tyranny level 4. Overall stats, physique level 30. Strength level 28. Agility level 28. Magic power level 34, plus 2. Overall evaluation. The worst tyrant of the Korean peninsula has met disgruntled citizens. Small citizens dissatisfied with the social system won't ignore the opportunities he gives them. Starter pack is currently applied. A growth package is currently applied. The new scenarios package is currently applied. The attribute windows made sense. He was so strong because he used 3 packages. He also had a constellation who liked to walk dangerously on a tightrope. An aura covered his entire body. The Tyrant King was raising his sympathy with his sponsor to the limit. Several dokubis, including Bihyung, were staring at him from the air. They were prepared to make a plausibility request at any time if he violated plausibility. I was certainly a tyrant, but I'm no longer a tyrant. History isn't scary. It is because from today onwards, I'll make a new history for this land. The top tyrant of the Korean peninsula, who wasn't recorded as a king in history. I am Yongsangun. A tremendous magic power emerged from the Tyrant King as sympathy with the sponsor reached its limit. The group members in the way exploded. Level 30 magic power was inserted into the 3-ring loop. It was very dangerous. Don't back down! Everyone fight! However, the anti-Tyrant King alliance was also unbelievable. Apart from the other kings, there was also the Maitreya King and the Earth Dragon King. Once the kings united, the disadvantages were gradually reduced. The other kings raised their sympathy with their sponsor to the limit. It wasn't just the incarnations, the constellations were also desperate. I looked down at Han Suyong's head and asked, You aren't gonna fight? Han Suyong laughed at my words. Laughing, I guess you still have room to spare. Do you think it'll go as you planned? Yongsangun and the other kings have started to fight. Once they're exhausted, you'll be able to take the 4-yin demonic beheading sword, right? It was pretty close. But it won't work. Your act of spreading the text was quite good, but I've been preparing for today much longer than you. What nonsense are you saying? In the end, the cliché will win. The voice of the intermediate dokubis was heard in the air. Everyone is fighting well. Great constellations, are you desperate? I see. The incarnations and constellations should work hard. Does everyone want to go up another narrative class? The battlefield quieted down at the dokubi's voice. That's why I brought good news. From now on, the second qualification test will begin. King's qualification. 1. The owner of the throne should be braver than anyone else. The absolute throne never wants a weak king. To challenge the throne, you must own at least the black flag. 2. He who dreams of the throne must desire it. The number of kings that can challenge the throne is decided. In order to gain the right to challenge it, you must remove other kings around you. Please note that only 5 kings can challenge the final qualification of the absolute throne. The remaining number is, let's see. Number of kings remaining, 14. The people started murmuring. 14? Are there still kings outside? For your reference, there are 12 kings currently inside the hidden dungeon. I was a bit surprised. There's so many kings in this dungeon? Well, I didn't think I'd be the only hidden king. Who is it? Who's the king that's hiding? The Tyrant King laughed at the confused people. It's very funny that you're hitting each other on the back of the head. Now's not the time to fight amongst ourselves. We must pay attention to the Tyrant King. It happened when the kings barely regained their sense of reason. Here, this guy's the king! Han Soo-young's head shot out to everyone. I saw it! He has a flag! I quickly trampled on Han Soo-young's head. Everyone's attention focused on me. It was the moment when the death of one of the remaining kings was decided. I felt it was cheap. The plagiarist plot was too shallow. Wait a minute. Perhaps. I focused on the people secretly moving behind the kings. They were the loyal subjects that the kings cherished. The thin knife cut off the head of a king. The number of remaining kings has been reduced. Number of remaining kings, 12. The Prudent King and Fighting King were exhausted, while the Maitreya King and Earth Dragon King were hit hard by the surprise attack. Even the Tyrant King was stabbed in the side and thighs by 3 men from behind. These damn people! I realized who was behind this. The humans that betrayed their kings didn't bleed when their heads were cut off. The gems of the fallen kings were quickly taken by someone. The jewel! My jewel! The star jewels were moved through the hands of the hidden avatars and gathered in one person's hands. I told you. In the end, the cliché won. A beautiful girl moved through the air and laughed as she landed on a niche. Surely this wasn't the main body of the plagiarist writer. I hadn't expected a woman. The 7 jewels gathered in her hands emitted light. The fake king, Han Soo-young, has gathered all the 7 star jewels. The 7 star jewels are sacrificed to summon a new item. Fake king Han Soo-young is summoning the 4-yin demonic beheading sword. In the end, the plagiarist writer became the master of the 4-yin demonic beheading sword. She was the fake king. It was an attribute that matched her amazingly well. Dr. Shi, what should we do? Still okay. Yusanga made a strange face at my blase words. Is it okay to be calm? It's a great item. That's right. The S plus grade item was great, but Yosangun's 3-ring loop was also S grade. The performance was a bit different, but it wasn't that bad. A dazzling magic power poured out of the 4-yin demonic beheading sword and swept through the battlefield. However, people didn't die easily. People thought they were going to explode, but they managed to neutralize her magic power. Her magic power was weakened because she used a lot of avatars, and above all, the 3 main kings were still alive. The confused Han Soo-young shouted, What is this? Why is it so weak? Kill her! Kill her and take away that sword! Back off! Back off! It turned out like this. Han Soo-young was pushed back to where my party was located. I said to her, The cliché is broken. This is what usually happens. Shut up! Do you want me to help you? No need! Han Soo-young cried out and waved her sword again, but she seemed to be pushed back. I wanted to say something to the silly girl. The weapon wasn't famous because it was strong, but because the original owner was strong. I'll kill you! The Tyrant King recovered his confidence and started to attack, while the other kings started to fight as well. The battle soon became a melee with no allies. By the way, it should be time for him to come. Was he still wandering? The northern region of Seoul is far, but it was enough time for him to return. Number of kings remaining, 11. The signboard in the air changed. Number of kings remaining, 10. Indeed. Number of kings remaining, 9. He came. What? Why is the number dwindling suddenly? The surrounding kings were filled with fear. The number of kings started decreasing for an unknown reason. Number of kings remaining, 8. The fear of the kings reached their limit as the number decreased to 1 digit. There's someone's killing the kings! On the other hand, someone was rejoicing. The Tyrant King. Haha, who cares? You'll also die! The Tyrant King was about to fire the 3-ring loop again when the ceiling collapsed and the Tyrant King fell. A formidable storm of magic power struck the Tyrant King, and he screamed painfully. The enormous storm of magic power that dissembled all living beings into particles destroyed the Tyrant King's body. The number of kings remaining, 7. Only the cold appearance of a person remained in front of them. The people close to the unusual scenes trembled and flopped down. What is this? A man killed the Tyrant King in a single blow like he was a bug. The explosion cleared and his appearance was gradually revealed. The surviving kings and dying kings. Everyone looked at him with captivation. Han Soo-young's legs shook with fear, and she retreated. Nonsense! This is nonsense! The words of her avatar suddenly came to mind. The strongest among the 7 kings in Seoul was the Tyrant King. I previously thought so, but these words weren't true. So far I met 5 out of the 7 kings, including Han Dong-hun, who didn't become a king because of the prophets. Hermit King of Shadows, Han Dong-hun. King of Beauty, Min Ji-won. The Materia King, Cha Sung-kyung. The Earth Dragon King, Gu Ge-song. Tyrant King, Jong Yoon-ho. Apart from the Neutral King, who hadn't appeared yet, there was still one person. Then who was this remaining person? The answer was simple. In fact, I met him before any other kings. A furious voice rang throughout the battlefield. Kim Dok-sha. I smiled and waved towards him. A large black flag flew behind the person heading towards me. You came? One of the 7 kings of Seoul. The strongest was naturally the Supreme King, Yu Jong-ok.